Welcome to the Dark Zone, an adventure racing podcast.
We found one like mountain hut in middle of nowhere there in the mountains, and it was raining, and I think it was like +5 Celsius degrees, so everyone was really cold. And we all slept in one small mountain hut together on that night. Maybe we slept totally 4 hours because someone said that let's sleep here during the dark time and then let's get going when there's light. It's so much easier on the mountains.
Well, for me, the action is the juice. I'm in.
Oh, how can you not be romantic about adventure racing?
It's a metaphor.
I know it's a metaphor.
Say the word, Chef.
Whatever.
For over 40 years, the American Himalayan Foundation has been on the ground, partnering with visionary leaders across the region. They bring education to girls at risk of being trafficked. They fund surgeries for children with disabilities who would otherwise be left behind. They support Tibetan refugees, protect fragile mountain environments, and stand by communities through earthquakes, pandemics, and floods. The foundation doesn't do fanfare, they do results. Quietly, relentlessly, with grit, respect, and deep local trust. If you've ever trekked, climbed, raced, or dreamed of the Himalaya, this is a way to give back to the people who call those mountains their home. www.himalayan-foundation.org. And as always with all of our charity partners, they pay nothing for this ad. Thank you for your support, and please visit their website. Welcome to the Dark Zone Adventure Racing Podcast. This is your host, Brian Gatens. When we go and when we look for guests, we get guest recommendations, we pay attention to successful racers, and this guest has been on our radar for almost 6 months to a year trying to get him on. And there's been some upside down with scheduling, and finally we pinned each other down and we had a chance to sit down and have a conversation. Today, Lauri Hollo is our guest from Finland. He's a member of the Northern Adventure team. He's very involved in the adventure racing scene, both in Finland as well as internationally. We're delighted to have him on the show. What he brings to the stage for us today is that he is across a wide swath of the sport. And he's been very, very successful. He does a lot of really great things. And we're just so happy to have him on the show today. So, Lauri, thank you for coming on the show. Thanks for being on the Dark Zone. Great to finally get you here. Tell us a bit about yourself. What got you into adventure racing?
Well, thank you for being here. It's an honor to be here. Actually, how I got into adventure racing, it goes really back when I was born, because my dad used to race with Petri Forsman with the first world champions in 2001, and I was 2 years old when Petri and my dad organized Endurance Quest Adventure Race, and I don't have any memories about that, but I have seen pictures when I was running around 2 years old at the start line of that race. And maybe when I was 5 years old, my dad went with me to the forest and gave me map and compass and teach me how to use map and compass and how to do orienteering. And then I got really deep into orienteering, and I race in the Finnish national level all the way when I was 18 or 17 years old. And then, of course, with the running, I start mountain biking. And maybe when I was 17 years old, my dad was like, hey, let's race together. First time we went to race, and after that I was immediately, hey, this is it. No more like short 1 hour races. This is it. I want to do this. And maybe now past 7 years, it been my really passion to race all around the world and try to find new places and new races. And of course, with the team, we always like to push ourselves and get better results all the time.
And so clearly, having grown up as a child, still in diapers, your father doing this racing and you having that experience, and then having a map and compass in your hand when, in kindergarten, 5 years old, a huge part of your who you are. And it seems very natural that you flowed right into it. When you were going through the process of learning about the sport with your dad and growing into it, what was the message that you were getting about the expectation? Did he encourage you to do it, or did you just grab onto it right away?
Of course, yeah, he encouraged me to do this and race with my orienteering friends, but it's always with my passion because I realized that orienteering is fun. I love to do it, but including cycling and paddling and going, because I love night orienteering. That's why I'm the best. I love to put my headlight on and go to dark forest and orienteer there. But with adventure racing, you can do it at around the clock.
Right.
So that's what really hooked me in, and I was like, okay, yeah, I want to do this, and I bring my orienteering friends with me to race.
So tell us a bit about in Finnish culture, the orienteering culture, adventure racing culture. Finland, wonderful country, strong racers, a lot of really good stuff goes on there. What's it like there from a national perspective? Are there large federations? Are there leagues? Do schools do it? What's that like?
Well, we have own adventure racing Finnish National Championship Series, including 6 races this year, going from 5 hours to 30 hours races. And roughly currently we have like maybe a little bit less than 2,000 like participants around the year total. So it's quite a small sport at the moment, but it's growing actually quite fast all the time because, well, orienteering is really like, I would like to say that more than half of the people in Finland know how to navigate with the map and compass because they teach us that in the school, elementary school and high school for all the students. So that's mandatory to little bit practice with the map and compass.
So that's part of the formal instruction in schools is map and compass orienteering.
Yeah. And actually that was really fun because I discussed with the Polish non-stop adventure team because they were racing in the Endurance Quest last year. They say that it was really demanding navigation, but all the Finns are like, they have born with the map and compass on their hand, so they know how to use it. So for them, it wasn't hard. But for Polish people, it might, well, they say that it was hard for them. But for us, it was like pretty normal.
And so having that, so talk to me a bit about Finnish culture. Of all the choices to make about what's taught in schools, what's the motivation behind orienteering? Is it for to get to know the outdoors? Is it to build the mental skills involved? Like clearly a decision is made. There's only so much time to actually be in a classroom, and yet they choose map and compass navigation, which is a fascinating idea. Of all the things to choose from, that's clearly a priority. Why do you think they went with that?
Well, I think because Finland is actually, it's pretty a large country, but not that many people. So we have a lot of forests and outdoors. And people really, really love to do outdoors. Wintertime, everyone is skiing. It's really crazy about the skiing because I live in capital city. And maybe in October when they open a first ski track, 600 meters long, it's full of people all around the clock. So all Finnish people love outdoors. And that's why people want to learn, and they have to learn how to use a map and compass because they love to spend time in the outdoors so much.
And so clearly and also I would argue there's probably a safety aspect too, right? If it's a highly outdoor culture, it's really good to have citizens who are able to handle themselves safely, not to get lost, to know what a map is like, a compass is like, and things like that. And so I'm assuming then having the family component and then the school component, your move into orienteering appeared very common, but then adventure racing really was your thing, right? You talked about that, how the cycling as well as the paddling, you just knew you were home and you would enjoy that.
Yeah, when I raced my first race with my dad, I was like immediately, oh, this is the thing what I want to do. It was a 5 hours long race, and maybe it's just like when we finish, I say that okay, next time 24 hours, I want to go around the clock. And my dad,
so
I was
you
like
knew right
17.
Away.
yeah, but my dad
great,
was like,
but Dad, I want to go to 24.
Yeah, my dad was like, maybe let's do 10 hours before that, but sir, because he knew that I have spent so much time in the outdoors, so he was like immediately said, oh yeah, I think you are ready, but let's do a little bit like 10 hours before that.
That is so funny because so many parents are like telling kids, get out of the house, get off the couch, put down the phone, and you're like, Dad, listen. 5 is great. 124. Your dad's like, we'll do 10 hours first. And so was that part of the Finnish series? Was it in your backyard basically? Very easy to get to.
Well, it was part of the Finnish series that time, and it was like 2 hours drive, but it's not that far to be honest. And well, because in Finland we have races all around the Finland. Most of them are close to capital city, but maybe some of them are in the Lapland or in the eastern Finland. So all the Finnish racers are used to travel for the races because we have maybe 15 races year around. So not that many races, but all of the racers are willing to travel all the time around the Finland to get the races and race there.
Right, and so therefore there's a sense of national culture around that. Everyone's doing it. There's 15 of them, so there's a lot of options. You could always do all that. Do they race year round? Race through the winter and through the summer?
We have actually few winter races, but most of them are in the summertime.
And what's the terrain like? Tell us, for those of us who've not been to Finland, what are the primary navigation challenges that you have when you're out there?
Well, it's of course because we have so high detail maps, because of all the racers just use the orienteering maps. So we don't have any topographical maps or anything. So we have a really detailed map. So that gives the opportunity to race directors to make checkpoints really hard to find, because it might be a small stone in a forest, but you really have to understand how to read a map and how to utilize it in the outdoors to understand where are you. So that's basically what most of the Finnish racers are doing, and because orienteering is really huge sport in Finland, so almost every place has own orienteering maps,
right?
And even mountain biking orienteering maps. So all the Finnish races utilize those maps. So the Finnish, like when we go international races, we are not used to that kind of maps, because in Finland the biggest problem for us that we are used to so detailed maps. So that also a little bit like gives us disadvantage in the international level, because we are used to like read the maps and know that every trail is there. And
right.
when you
go
aboard,
my next question. Like not every adventure racing map is an orienteering map. And for those out there who are listening who are new to the sport, orienteering is a great gateway into adventure racing, right? So many adventure racers spend time on their weekends doing local orienteering meets, volunteering and racing. But there's a significant difference between the quality of an orienteering map and a typical adventure race map. And so when you went international, was that a challenge for you?
Well, of course, you have our first international race was Adventure Race Croatia 4 years ago. And when I got the maps, of course, I have studied a little bit maps before, what kind of maps they are. I was like, okay, everything looks okay. I can utilize this. I think we went only 2 kilometers when we have to stop pedaling. I was like, wait, this crossroad is not on the map. What is happening here now?
Okay. Yeah, you're so used to those highly specific maps that so your first was that your first international race, Croatia?
Yeah, it was our first.
So who did you do that race with? What was your team consisted of?
We are the Northern Adventure team, and we are all actually university students. And when we started, we was high school students, and we knew each other's based on the orienteering, and because we have raced in the same orienteering club, but we all changed into adventure racing. And well, of course, most of the people say that the hardest part was to get the team on the starting line. Mm-hmm. And that was also part of that race, because our female racer at that time sent us maybe 1 month before that message that he can't race because he has some knee injury. So we have one time to find a new female. Thankfully, I sent one Instagram message to Kaisa, which is currently our team member, and asked that if she wants 1 week nice Croatian holiday with 3 young students, what she doesn't know yet. And Kaisa immediately answered, okay, what's your flights?
Yeah, that's very adventure racing, right?
Yeah.
To get an instant message and be like, oh, I'm in, let's go, Croatia.
Yeah. And we raced there, we finished that race, and then maybe a couple of hours that when we are after the finish, Kaisa asked us, okay, what's the next race where we're gonna race all together? And I was like, no, I'm not ready to think about that yet. But actually after that, Kaisa has been racing almost every race with us in the South Africa World Championship last year. And this year we are going to Canada to World Championships again. So it was fun because she came for us to replacement, but then she stayed for permanent member for our team.
Yeah, and that happens a lot, right? I mean, you end up, we've had that where someone said, listen, I need someone last minute, and a man or woman joins up, and it ends up being a great experience, right? And so strong. And that's not an easy dynamic to do. And so when your team had to manage that, and you had someone brand new coming in last minute, did you take any actions to smooth her entry into the team, or did you just did you talk beforehand? How did you set yourself up for success? And by the way, and I'm getting ahead of myself, how did AR Croatia go for you as a team? Did you have a good race?
Yeah, we have the good race. I can't remember our position, but I think we almost did the full course.
Okay.
And it was pretty good result based on our first expedition race.
So what was the biggest challenge you had during that race?
Well, I think because three of us, all the male, we knew each other so well based on we have been together maybe 15 years. Mm-hmm. So we knew each other's everything. So I think for that, get Kaisa on board was a little bit challenge because we communicate so well and we knew how everyone will react after maybe one day racing and everything. We can read each other quite well. But that was the hardest thing to get Kaisa on board and understand what goes through her mind.
Gotcha. And so therefore the three of you were so tight and you knew each other so well, you run the risk of having your brand new teammate be left out of things. And we both know that's a killer to team morale.
Yeah, exactly. So that was really hard also because we never raced Kaisa. So we didn't know what role she used to be and what she used to do. So that was a little bit like finding out all the roles, of course, all the time.
Yeah, during the race, right? So
during the race.
And so therefore you're in an intense situation trying to figure out these dynamics, and you have all these other things going on too. So clearly it was successful because she continued racing with you and you went to the World Championship together. What else during that race did your team do well in terms of your nutrition, your foot care, your sleep? What did you learn about expedition racing during that event?
Well, what went well was navigation. I think we didn't do any navigation errors, maybe a few 100 meters mistakes, but of course, because three of us are based on the orienteering background,
right.
So every of us can take the map and lead the team with the map. Mm-hmm. So that's always our strength, that any of us can say that, okay, I navigate now, you are tired, give me the map, I lead. So that was the huge, what went really well. Maybe
that was the good part, right? You clearly, from a navigation perspective, even though they're adventure race maps, it really wasn't tough for you because you had such strong orienteering experience.
But what wasn't that well is, of course, the nutrition, because all of us may be based, because before that we only raced 24-hour races. So basically, we scale our 24-hour race nutrition to the expedition length. So we didn't have enough salty food or real those freeze-dried outdoor foods. We don't have nothing of those. We only have snack bar, gels, and candies, and maybe some chips, but not that real food.
Yeah.
And
that's a great piece of advice, by the way, because I've seen teams, myself included, fall into that trap of if this is my 1 day supply, I'll just multiply by 5 and I'm good.
Yeah. But we exactly do that. We have the Excel and we just multiply 5 and bought stuff with that.
Yeah. And by day 4, you're like, I can't eat this. You're just done with food. Yeah.
Yeah, and maybe that's quite good to go even day 4 with only gels and snack bars.
Right. And it's true too. Adventure racers are very analytical by nature. A lot of engineers are adventure racers, and they do those calorie counts. Yeah. Right. And if they say I have to have 150 calories an hour, just say, and I'm racing for 24 hours, all I need is that calorie number. But they forget that your mouth gets sore, you're tired of the gels, you're tired of the things wrapped in plastic. You need actual food, and so therefore you have to add in that variety. So what did you do then? So nutrition was a challenge for Croatia. How did you change that for South Africa? What did you do differently?
Well, of course, the biggest thing what we changed, and all the other expedition races also, that we count that we have one freeze-dried, those tactical food pack foods, where you can just add water and it's ready. Yeah. Every 12 hours we eat that. So then your stomach gets some real food and some salt and other stuff. So it's really easy, and even those, because you can do those in cold water.
Yep.
So those are perfect for getting some real food and some other things to eat.
Yeah, you just have to make them soft, right? You like hot water, but if you put cold water in too, eventually you have those calories. Yeah, those freeze-dried camping meals are the best. And a strategy too that people use is in a TA, if there's hot water in the transition area, they'll make it, they'll seal it, and if it's cold, they'll put it inside their jacket to warm up a little bit. Let's hope it doesn't break open, and then they eat it while they're hiking. They keep moving.
Yeah, and even those like long trekking sections, maybe 24 hours. I think I eat 3 of those on site because you can just do it, put it in your backpack, and eat 30 minutes later cold with cold water, and then you have energy next 3 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you surprised at your nutritional needs, like the idea of how hungry you were during the race, or did you just get tired of eating and you just like you just were just full all the time?
Well, of course, I think everyone gets tired of eating at some point.
Right.
But well, because we have so many people coaching us a little bit, what's the first expedition race? And I remember what Petri Forsman said, that the eating is superpower. So every time you just eat.
Right.
Every time you just eat. So that we all keep reminding that. And actually first expedition, the Grace race, we have one like watch peeping every 30 minutes. Remind everyone that you have to eat now something.
That was your strategy, was you had to set, no matter what, 30 minutes you had to put something in your mouth.
Yeah, and we even do that, still we are doing that even 24-hour races.
Right.
Your watch peeps in every 30 minutes, everyone knows now we eat something if you haven't eaten anything.
A common strategy, on that same note, right, around food, a common strategy that a team like Bend Racing uses, they did this during Endless Mountains a couple of years ago, was for foot care. They set a timer, and I want to say 5 hours. I might be wrong about that, and Jason and Chelsea, let me know if I'm wrong. But every 5 hours, regardless of how their feet felt, they did a foot check. They didn't take their shoes and socks off, but they made it a point to pause, and did they need to work on their feet? Hot spots, blisters, things like that. What did your team do for foot care during the race?
Well, because we all are like, we have done a lot of like row gaining, 12 hours, 24 hours row gaining. So our feet care was pretty like, we have used to take care of our feet. So we use some like barrier balm and of course change socks. But every time when we are in the long trekking sections, if they are 24 hours long or even 20 hours long, we change our socks in halfway point. We have like one extra pair of socks in our backpack and we change it. So it's always a mental part because now you know you are halfway. But then it's other side that your feet can get new socks, even if you're, well, of course, your feet are wet all the time, but still dry socks helps quite much because they give it more extra time on your feet and helps a little bit dry your feet.
That's a really good strategy. So I'll say that loud for the audience. So if you're doing a 20-hour trekking section, right, you're out there for a long time, at the halfway point, call it 10 hours or call it whatever the mileage is, when you think you're halfway, the team stops and you just do a foot care change. You just, for a psychological boost and for a physical support, that's, you guys just do that and you continue racing.
Yeah, and that's really good because then everyone knows that, because everyone can't have maps, so everyone knows that now we are in the middle way of that stage.
Oh, that's interesting too, because it lets the person know who's not navigating, we're getting there, and you're turning, and if you, not that you're going home, but you're making the turn and you're getting closer to the transition area than being further away. That's a really good. I've never heard that as a piece of advice before. That at a halfway point during a section, give yourself a bit of a break there. That's a really, really good. Thank you for sharing that for the audience. I'm sure people will appreciate hearing that. So you had Croatia, and you had this jump from 24 into multi-day racing, and you learned a lot about yourself during the race. You got your new teammate. When that race was over, you clearly had to think about how the race went, and you had to debrief and analyze what you did well as a team. When you did that and you thought about your success and also your struggles as a team, what did you zero in on as something that you struggled with? What was the thing that was hard for you?
Well, the hard part was, of course, like the pacing ourselves, that we have to go faster. I believe that when you go to your first expedition race, everyone has that same problem, that you don't know how fast you can go in day 3 or day 4. But that was like, we went too slow because we are afraid that we might burn ourselves too quickly, and maybe later, day 2, day 3, we couldn't have that same energy that, hey, let's go faster, and that was the thing what came up in our debrief, that next time everyone has to have that mentality that we have to push more, not just like try to get the full course, but the race there actually.
Gotcha. So you fell for the purpose of that first race because you were trying to figure things out, and it's hard, right? It's the distance, it's the teammate, it's the food, it's the feed, it's the navigation. that in retrospect, looking back, you wish that you had, you were a bit too conservative. You held on to some energy. You could have gone faster in that race.
Yeah, but at the other side, because we went that little bit slower, everything went. No one didn't. Everyone has like good feelings throughout the race, and I think we did almost perfect for first expedition race.
No one got burnt out, right? You weren't like 2 days into the race and someone was like thrown up behind you, and so that was really. So in retrospect, what's a struggle, which I'll put in quotes, not really a struggle, but by being conservative, you helped yourself out, and you said you almost went full course for that race.
Yeah, exactly. And we did really well, but because we all are so competitive people, we always want to race. Because when you have the number bib on, you have to race. You are not just like, I love those outdoor tourists who goes races for outdoors and expeditions. But for me and our team, we are so competitive that every time we put race bib on, it's all just about racing.
Right. And you see that, right? You see in a race that there are teams they're at the pointy end of the race, right? That race starts and they're out of the gate as hard as they can. And then behind them, there are various teams that have different goals that are set in. Like some teams want to, they want to get through the race in one piece. They want to get as much of the field as possible. Some teams want to win the race, and everybody has those goals that are built around that. And that's the nice thing about the sport is, it's interesting. And you're clearly someone who has grown up outdoors and orienteering. The fact that adventure racing is such a big tent. There's so many, you have a lot of different goals can fit inside one race. And your goal right now is to be very competitive because you're younger and you're stronger and you want to win, you want to go fast.
But at the same time, as a race director, I love those people who are for the adventure, not the race, but for the adventure, because those are those who have they'll make the biggest stories out of it and have I think the biggest experience about learning for them, because those competitive teams who are winning, they just race. They don't get the experience of the expedition and the adventure side that much.
Yeah. So to that point, like I know one of my favorite things during a big race, and I'll go 24 hours or more as big race, is I love when I come across like some out of the way cafe or restaurant or terrible gas station food and to stop and get a bite to eat and sort of enjoy the experience. When you guys are racing, are you full gas all the time or do you stop and take those moments?
Of course, we take those moments because then you can get real food and get a little bit rest. And actually, we were in South Africa. I think it was day 4. And it was in the middle of the long, more than 200 kilometers bike section. And I say that on the map that there is that one quite small town, but there might be some restaurants if we go there before 9 p.m. Of course, we were there a little bit later, 9 p.m. We find one hotel open. And we went to the hotel restaurant to get food. And there was one team sleeping already on that hotel couches and they have just eat. We eat there. And while we are eating, 2 teams arrive there. So at one point we have 4 teams there, and then 2 random team media guys arrived there for looking at the hotel room, and then the hotel owner thinks that we are all friends and we want one big room, like for maybe 18 people, and we're like, no, we are just leaving, and the others was leaving, and then I don't know what happened, but then the hotel owner just kicked everyone out there.
Right. It's funny you mentioned the day 4. In adventure racing, there's the first day, there's the last day, and there's just one big day in between.
Yeah, and to be honest, I don't remember what day is what real. I think it's day 4.
Right. It's funny you mentioned the hotel owner ended up throwing everybody out because we were in Scotland one time, had so much fun having this one race, and we got stuck overnight. We had to sleep in a public bathroom, and we came across this hotel, and a team was in the bar the night before and they were tired. They locked the team in the bar to sleep and said, when you're done, just close the door on the way out. And so a team slept in this bar in this Scottish hotel, just got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, locked the door behind them, and off they were racing. That's the great part about that. Those are the stories that come out of it. Those kinds of experiences. 18 people in this poor South African hotel. What's going on here? There's this owners getting knocked around by all these people thinking they're all going to stay there. So how did South Africa go for your team?
Well, it didn't went that well because 2 of our teammates has to quit in middle of the race because they have knee injuries. But me and Kaisa said for me that because she's not a strong navigator, so she asked that if I can navigate for her to finish line, because she said that she hasn't traveled to South Africa for nothing around the world. So I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, we are here.
Yeah, you're there, right? Keep going.
Yeah, we are here. We have food, we have everything. Let's go.
Right.
And me and Kaisa, we finished the full course. Maybe I think our time was like 160 hours or something.
How did it go shifting from 4 people to 2 people? How did that change the dynamic?
It changed quite much because then I was like basically responsible of navigation and Kaisa was responsible for all the other stuff, TAs and all the other stuff. For me, it was quite hard because then I have to navigate maybe 80 hours alone.
Right. Yeah.
So,
which mentally is really, really hard. Like people, I say it all the time. You know, Lauri, I'll tell you, like I have so much respect for team navigators. I mean, not for nothing. I'm a mule. Give me stuff to carry. Yeah. I'll carry all the stuff you want. I'm very good when we get into a city. I have good spatial awareness, but like in the woods, I think about team navigators, how psychologically taxing that must be to be responsible for the team for hundreds of hours. Did that, and you mentioned like that weighed on you for those 80 hours.
Yeah, that's also weight, but I think for navigators, the sleep monsters are not coming that easily because you have to always be awake and know the map and know where you are. So for me, it's also other hand, it's also a little bit mentally stuff that I have to do something. I don't just like go full blind one road with my bike, but I have to also understand what's happening all around it.
Right. You can't just turn your brain off. Like I know for myself, like in a race, I just follow the guy in front of me. And if he makes a wrong turn, all right, we'll figure it out. But like when the person with the map, a lot of responsibility for that. That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. So with South Africa, your team being broken up into 2 people going across, acknowledging the fact that you'd love to get 4 people across the finish line. You got 2 across the finish line. How did you enjoy your South African experience? Like the course itself, the challenge, the whole, because that's a famous race now. People talk about it as being so legendary. Was that your impression too of the race?
Yeah, of course. I can't say anything about the legendary. We have so high expectations because we met Heidi 1 year before in the European Championships in Spain. And she said that you have to come there to South Africa. You're going to regret your whole life if you're not coming there. And I was a little bit like, okay, well, maybe it can be that legendary race. But to be honest, Heidi was right. I would be so jealous everyone, and I would be like, whole my life, why I wasn't there. But I'm so happy that we went there, and it was, of course, the course was really beautiful, really nice, and it was really challenging. I think from
that
Finland,
was a big course.
We are used to, that was big course, but for us, we are used to a little bit colder weather. The weather was quite too hot for us. But yeah, it was just amazing experience.
Were you one of those teams? I think it might have been night 2 when it got really, really cold and all the teams like took refuge in like local farmhouses. Like there was that one evening where if you looked at the maps, all the teams were kind of clustered together. They were going north, and it was the cycle to the paddle, I believe. And every few kilometers, teams were just all ganged up together. Did you remember? And I apologize if you don't have a memory of this because it's all one big blur.
No, we wasn't part of that because that cycle to paddle, we did really well on that. I think it was last cycle. I think there was like us and then the one French team and then the Blizzard from Russia, and we were cycling all together. And we found one like mountain hut in middle of nowhere there in the mountains, and it was raining, and I think it was like +5 Celsius degrees, so everyone was really cold.
Right.
And we all slept in one small mountain hut together on that night. Maybe we slept totally 4 hours because someone said that let's sleep here during the dark time and then let's get going when there's light. It's so much easier on the mountains.
So speaking of sleep, what is your plan for a big race like that? Like, do you sleep at all? Do you go through the first night? Do you sleep? Like, what has been your strategy with sleep?
Well, we always try to sleep maybe 1 hour per night. But the first night we don't sleep, but we try to sleep on TAs because then normally there might be some warm places, you have your access your equipment, you eat well, and then you go sleep, and then you eat again before you head out to the stage. And we try to always clear the stages without sleeping on stages.
Got it. So you want to get through a TA, and you want to get yourself. Are you a sleeping TA or not sleeping TA person?
Well, that's really like depends on the day, but not that sleepy person. But of course, I think sleeping is my superpower at the other hand, because when I ever lay down, close my eyes, I can sleep immediately when I want to.
Gotcha. And how old are you right now?
25.
You're 25. When you're 25, you don't need to sleep. Yeah. When you're 40, we'll get you back on the Dark Zone for episode 9,000. We'll see how well you sleep then when you're 40 years old.
Yeah, I can imagine, because also being a university student, that might help.
Yeah.
Get to utilize how to be awake.
Yeah. Right now, your age is a superpower, and live it up. Enjoy it. Enjoy every second of it, because it's going to pass eventually. So I'm glad there that you had such a good experience, and you grew into that, and you really enjoyed the South Africa and all those challenges and finding those huts at night and all of that was really something else.
I'm saying everyone that being a university student is the best time to do racing, because you only have the university. You don't have family. You have to be only student, study, but then you can just travel the races and race and train almost like semi-pro, because you have the lectures, but then you can train around it. 2 trainings a day is like pretty okay, because you might have 1 lecture per day, so you're almost semi-pro on your time management side.
And there's also this breaks in semesters where you have large swaths of time where you're not necessarily going to be at university.
Exactly, you might have 3 months holiday, summer holiday.
That's great. You're right. And to your point, take advantage of that when your life is relatively unweighed down by other pursuits. Take full advantage of it and be a racer.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Croatia, South Africa, were those your 2 big multi-day races, or did you do other ones?
Yeah, those are our 2 big expedition races. We have raced in the European series on those 24-hour races quite much in past 2 years.
Okay, so how did the multi-day racing? What adjustments did you make to the shorter races? Did you change anything the way that you raced?
We didn't change we didn't change nothing. We just get rid of sleeping and just push, and realize that because we go only 24 hours, we have to push quite fast.
Gotcha. And there's no sleeping, there's no stopping, right? There's no cafe stops during those. Like you keep moving.
And that was really surprised, because after 1 year in Croatia, we raced in the Right Lowlands, Netherlands 2023, and in second TA, then the race officer said that we are the second position, and we are never used to that in the adventure race, even maybe in Finland, but not in the international level. And we were really surprised that how 1 year our speed from an expedition race changed from like almost for catching the leaders and getting podium place on that race.
How did you like? I heard Ray Lowlands is a great race. I heard they do a really nice job. Did you enjoy that race?
We have done that now twice, and of course I enjoy more paddling, because in Finland we have a lot of waters and lakes and rivers and oceans, so we enjoy more paddling. But I think the biking stages are one of the best those there ever what I have raced there, because I know the race directors on Red Lowlands, and I know that they love mountain biking. Yes. So they want to take the racers on their local trails where they enjoy it.
That's a very, very well thought of race. Everyone I know who's done those races and with those race directors are very, very positive on the experience. I've always been trying to get them on the show. So Raid Lowlands, if you can hear me, let's get together and talk about that. Let's talk about training a little bit. You mentioned with your copious time, being younger, you have a lot of time to train. What does your training look like? Do you work with a coach? Do you have a set plan? Do you make it up as you go along? How do you get fit for races?
I have coach, and basically we are utilizing 3-week models. So first week is easy, total 8 to 10 hours. Then the second week is like medium 14 to 15. And then the third week is maybe roughly 20 hours. And we repeat that cycle, not all around the year, but basically during winter and springtime, and then before the big races. And wintertime, mostly my hours come from cross-country skiing. I love to do that, and maybe I would say that all of the Finnish racers are doing that most of the time on the winter time. And then of course I'm like, I hate indoor biking.
Right.
I think because I'm so outdoor people, I find that really stupid to bike indoors.
Yeah,
but I know
you
that
feel
I
like
have
you're
to
going
do
nowhere
it.
fast.
Yeah, but I knew that I have to do it, and that's really good way to do interval trainings and fast sessions. But then a lot of running, and during winter time we practice quite much orienteering also, but in the city environmental. So we have like maybe once a week with the team we have like fast-paced city orienteering race trainings.
Urbano, right? Well, that's very, very popular. Inside those 3-week cycles, how is it broken up between cycling, running, and paddling? And do you do weight training? Do you do other activities? I mean, you mentioned the cross-country skiing. What else do you do?
Well, rock climbing maybe like once in 3 weeks, weight training once a week, but most of my hours come from cycling. I should run more, and of course I should paddle more, but I try to paddle once a week, and it's every time maybe 1 to 2 hours only. And then before races we do some like longer paddling trainings or training weekends, but I train only like once a week paddling, but I know that's actually quite much comparing to many other racers.
I mean, yeah, some people their paddle training is racing, right? That's the only thing they actually get in the boat is when they're doing that.
But that's really easy for me because my kayaking club is only like 2 kilometers from my home.
Okay.
So it's really easy to run there and take the kayak and go to the lake and paddle there.
Gotcha. So it's right, you fall out your back door and you have a chance to do it. Do you schedule team training or does all the team members train individually?
Because now we all live in different cities, maybe 2 hours by car. So we don't have like that weekly trainings, but we have the training weekends, and we utilize quite many, like for example, trail running races for our trainings and together training. So we go one trail running race together and run it together. So then we get some like speed trainings, but at the same time train with the team in the race environment.
Got it. So clearly you do what you can on your own, and from time to time, because of distance, you try to get them for a weekend and practice all that together. Yeah. You mentioned before that you do race directing. What races are you involved with?
Well, we organize like 1 8 hours nitro gaining in the urban environment, which got like 400 people going 8 hours by bike by night in the city. And that's really popular.
Time out here. So there's nighttime bike orienteering in the urban environment?
Yeah.
That's great. Holy cow. How do you get 400 people on the course at the same time? Do you just let them all go at once, or do you kind of space them out?
Because it's row gaining, so everyone's spread around the map.
Right away, they go in different directions.
Yeah, and that's the coolest part, because you need so less permits to go nighttime because there's no traffic or anyone else.
So say that. So because at nighttime is quieter on the roads, it's easier to get a permit from a local authority to go and have it at night?
Exactly, and then all the checkpoints can be, for example, in the Kinder's park or some like under the chair or anything. So it can be really like urban checkpoints because people are looking those on the nighttime, and if you go there during daytime, everyone like, what the fuck you are doing there? But during nighttime, no one is seeing you there.
Yeah, enough for nothing. You don't want guys running around like a playground during the day, right? It's a good call. Good call having a night. And that's an 8-hour nighttime. That sounds like so much fun. Now it's by team?
Yeah, by teams of 2 to 4. So basically you can be 2 or 3 or 4 members in team.
So out of curiosity, how many kilometers in total will the winning team cover on bike?
150 was actually, because we organized it 2 weeks ago. So they went 150 kilometers in 8 hours.
Wow. That's not slow. Like they're moving.
Yeah.
Like they're going.
Those are really good trainings also, to go 8 hours fast on your bike and at the same time navigate in the urban environment. Yeah,
that builds a lot of dynamics at once, right? Teamwork, bike handling skills, nighttime orientation, all of that. So that's a interesting race to put on. What other races do you put on?
Then the biggest one is the Endurance Quest, what me and my dad and Petri founded 20 years ago, and actually I'm currently the course designer and have been doing the courses now 2 years with the team, and it has been part of the AR World series, the European series, and this year is the European Championship race.
And when is that going to be?
Last weekend of August, so 29 to 31st of August.
And what's the distance and the time? How long is it open?
Winning time is roughly 24 hours. We haven't yet do the test run of the course. We have the course made, but we haven't calculated the times yet. And the course is open roughly 36 hours. Roughly the distance is 250 kilometers totally.
So with a course that's open for 36 hours and it being such a, it sounds like the kind of race, does it just attract people from Finland, or is it people coming from all over Europe to come and do it?
All of the Europe coming to there because it's a European Championship.
Oh, so it's a championship. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah. It's a championship, so therefore all of Europe is showing up. Yeah. I think my idea behind the question was that it sounds to me that it's almost bumping up against, it'd be worth your while to fly internationally. Like I could see an American team flying over to do the race for the purpose of doing this really, really great race and then going from there. Do you have to come from a European country to do the race, or can anybody come and do it?
Yeah, everyone can do it. And I know that actually one team from New Zealand is coming there.
Okay.
And they are flying after because it's only 3 weeks before the World Championships. So they're first flying to Finland, do the hour race, the European Championships as a training, and then they are flying to Canada to the World Championships.
That's a great training schedule. Sounds good to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, actually, that sounds perfect. How to spend a little bit less than 2 months.
Right. Yeah, because if you think about it, a team or a person could get teammates, can fly, could do your race, which is 24 to 36 hours. Then they could bundle a trip around Northern Europe in that area, and I'm sure there's. Aside from the adventure racing, that part of the world, is it just filled with races and marathons and 5K races, like that whole summer series? Are there just races all over those countries?
Yeah, there are. Basically, you can find almost every day something to do, and even you can find that yourself because all the Finnish maps are public, so you can even find yourself to do where to go and where's the good trails based on the map.
So are there permanent AR courses in the woods where the flags are attached to the trees?
No, but there are permanent some hiking or running or biking trails what are marked already.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's so you can get a map, and they're all public to your point, and just get going and maybe. So it sounds like you need to put together a Finnish training camp, right? Bring all the folks to come do a camp there with you.
Yeah, well, if someone is interested, send us message so we can organize basically anything.
I'll put the link in the show notes. They can talk because it sounds great because that time of the year must be beautiful there also, right? Late summer, a lot of daylight. I mean, it just has to be gorgeous.
Yeah, and of course, last year, the Spanish team spent 1 week after the race in Finland, and with them we went to kayaking on the sea and saw some national parks on the trails and everything. So we really want to show people what we have here, and of course give them access to the maps and kayaks and everything what they want to do here.
What other, aside from the adventure racing that goes on in Finland, there's other big events too, right? There's huge. I know are there races? Is there a massive, very, very popular race that's marked that takes place in Finland? And the name escapes me right now, but it's a very, very popular race. It takes place every year. What am I thinking of?
Do you mean Karhunkierros?
Yes. Yeah. What is that? Tell me about that race.
Yeah. That's 80 kilometers or 160 kilometers on one. I would say that the most popular and legendary Finnish hiking trail.
Okay.
So people are running that one way and back in one day.
Right.
And
do the 80 and be done, or do it out and back. Wow.
Yeah. And there's roughly 3,000 participants every year, and it's really a global thing. And there's a lot of international participants.
Yeah. So it sounds like Finland really is sitting here in beautiful New Jersey in America. It sounds like Finland is just this adventure capital. It's just there's so many good things to do there.
Yeah, I would say that, and I would say that we are we have the outdoor events for everyone, and basically from 5K around to 300K running, and even if you're adventure racing, we all go one road cycling race, which is in 300 kilometers in Lake Saimaa area, during the nighttime in the Finnish summer when there is no dark, only sunlight during nighttime, 300 kilometers cycling on the lakeside, and that's really beautiful. And I think I have to check, but I think there's more than 5,000 participants every year.
Yeah, I got to start looking at flights to Finland after we get done talking here. Sounds like an amazing place to go. So clearly successful with the Endurance Quest with the race directing, but the big thing for you now, it's May 2nd of 2025. The Adventure Racing World Championship in Canada is right around the corner, right? And you say you're taking your team there. What are you doing to get ready for that?
We race quite a lot as a team for that race. So we have scheduled a lot of like training races. Of course, we go there all out and train together. And that's our biggest training and for us, for the Canada. And we are really excited for that because we have been twice in the Canada for the ride Temiskamingwe, which is the state race. It's totally different, but we have been twice in Canada and well, that's a beautiful country. I can't say anything else.
Race. That raid is a really fun race. How do you like the stage racing? Was it hard to get going each day?
Well, maybe day 3 was a little bit harder, but it was basically 3 days all full out, 6 hours. But that raid Temiskamingwe, it really reminds for me the northern part of the Finland because for us it felt really like home. That if we go northern side, it looked really same.
Right.
But that was really crazy race to be honest for us.
So clearly, it's a great race to do. Very well regarded, by the way. And the stage racing is getting rather popular. This will come out after it's over, but the Cerberus race, which is a 3-day race put on by Mark Latanzi, is happening in America now, right? There's Raid the Rockies, there's several multi-day stage races that are happening. That's super popular. So you've been exposed to Canadian wilderness, right? So you have a sense of what Canada is like.
Yeah, and I think the stage races are also really good training for the expedition races because then you go 3 days, 4 days in a row fast. So you get a good training opportunity for expedition races also.
Have you done any preparation investigation into the conditions in Canada? Like it's being held in Penticton, British Columbia, the weather, you're from Finland, right? So like, I think you're going to be okay with a lot of base, but are you tailoring anything specifically for Canada and the terrain?
Well, of course, we don't have that big mountains there. Mountains are always like a little bit challenge for us because our mountain training is based on the 100 meters elevation hill. So we only do that 100 meters up and then down and all the time that same hill repeats. That's a big, every time when you go up to mountains, that's new thing for us.
Okay.
But the weather side and the wilderness side, I think we can be as prepared as we can because I think all the Nordic countries, Finland, Sweden, Norway, it's basically the same as Canadian wilderness.
Yeah. It's like it's embarrassing for you. If it goes poorly, it's really embarrassing for you that the weather got you.
Exactly, because the weather would be, as my friends, teammates say, that we can't have this optional weather from us. It's going to be cold and wet, and we are used to that.
Right. And it would be an advantage for you. Like in some way, not that you're rooting for bad weather, but you do know that if the weather turns poor, it'll play in your favor because you're used to racing in those conditions and having that.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
But I still hope that we don't get any snow there. I prefer not to have snow there.
Yeah, snow something else. I know, and right now in Morocco, there's some snow in some of the high mountain passes in Bimbach, which is happening as we speak. They had that experience also. So clearly, you were born into the sport at the foot of your father, and he's worked with you in the Endurance Quest, and you've raced Croatia, South Africa. Now you go into Canada. As you look at your horizon, right, the things that you want to do in the sport, what else is laying out there for you that you want to do?
I just want to race as much as I can. And of course, our goal is to maybe, I have to have ambition goals. So my goal is to win some long expedition race at some point. And the other hand, because I'm a race director, I want to get more people into adventure racing and get more people just to try it and get the idea what the sport is. And my goal is to host one international expedition race in Finland
Does Finland have the capacity for that in terms of the size of all the course that you would need? It sounds like it the way you described the country.
Yeah. I think the course is like the easiest part, thing to do in Finland for the expedition length course. Get the people and actually do it. I think because I love the maps and everything, so the draw the course is the easiest part. Then the executing every other thing is the hardest part.
Well, it's always that, right? I mean, the races sometimes, it's for the race director, it's the course is done, the permitting is done. It's getting the people there, it's getting the sponsors, it's the organizing everything.
Yeah, but it would be really cool to be part of the AR World Series as an expedition length race. That would be like my personal goal as a race director at one point, maybe next 3 years to be there.
You say you want to get more people into adventure racing. What do you think is the barrier? What is keeping people from doing it?
I think people are too afraid to like try it out because they think that they can't run a marathon. They are in good shape. But it's totally different because you only run like 5K, 10K, then you cycle, then you run again, paddle. So you don't need to be that fit as to run a marathon. And I think that just to show and organize smaller races to show people that everyone can do it, actually. You just have to own a bike and running shoes, basically.
That's a really good point you make, the idea that people who don't know the sport hear about the sport and they see the sport and they think they think that the requirement for entry is to have this incredibly strong physical ability. And the point that you're making is, which is true, if you could carry yourself pretty well, if you can navigate a little bit, if you can ride a bike a little bit, you could certainly do a 6-hour race. Like there's no barrier to doing that.
Yeah, exactly. And of course, the other thing which is challenging because all the social media is showing all the cool expedition race now in the Morocco, right? But the pictures are so cool and the course is so. People think that that's so brutal. I can't do that. Of course, you can do that in the first try, but they don't understand that there are those 5 hours races where you can do it.
Yeah, it's a trap we fall to in the dark zone, right? Like we bring as much content as we can to the racer, and we try to get a wide swath of people. We do adventure racers and racers who adventure, and we have people on who are non-adventure racers. Like we have an episode coming out with a long distance bike packer. She's going to be on the show pretty soon. By the time that will be out here, by the time this publishes, Megan Hakkinen was a guest on the show. And I think you're right. I think a trap that we fall into in the sport is that we advertise and we talk about the big, right? La Ruta Madre and America's Toughest Race. We talk about Endless Mountains Adventure Race. And there's a whole swath of people who don't want to dip their toes into the water because they don't think they can do any of that because we kind of hurt ourselves. We spend too much time talking about the big race. No, it's a constant challenge at the dark zone, trying to get a wide swath of people.
Yeah, but that's also like part of the being an adventure racer. Your goal is those expedition races most of the time. You love to follow them, you love to race them, you love to speak them. But then you don't realize that you are not showing that sport is accessible for everyone.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think you give me some good wisdom there. When I work with guests, I should make it a point to bring people on who've done the shorter races, had a great experience. And on top of that, the race directors that are putting those racers on, I think I'll be doing the sport a favor by doing that.
And that's why we even organize with our club. We organize like those evening training sessions, which are open for everyone. Those are maybe 2 hours long, where they're biking, kayaking, and running.
Gotcha. So it's just show up and the entry's easy, right? Just have a little bit of physical fitness and go have a good time. And
we even market those on the social media. You don't even have to know navigate because we have our team members there. So if you don't know navigate, someone of us can come with you and do those training sessions with you and show you just a sport. So get people under idea that I can do it. This was fun. I can do 4 hours next.
Yeah, that's a really nice thing too. If you think about it, like if a race director or a racer who wants to direct had like a local park, get a hold of a park. If there's a lake, if there's cycling allowed, and if there's a trails, you could put together a little 1 to 2 hour introduction. It could take place in one morning, and then they could sign up for another race on the way out, or they could learn more about it. I think that's a really good idea that your team puts that on, right, and makes it easy to do.
I have tried to say that all the Finnish organizers that do that your local own city, because then you get more people interesting and get more coverage about the adventure racing.
Yeah, and then obviously it grows from there, right? Because there's going to be some people who love it and they grab onto it. And, it's funny because you have racers who, you're a good example of like, you did a 5-hour race and you want to do a 24-hour race. Not everybody's like that. Some people they want to go incremental, 3-hour race, 6-hour race, 12-hour race, and they want to build into it. So you make a really, really good point about that.
And those are really like low. Those don't take that much time as a race organizer. You just print a map, put the short course there. Biggest thing is, of course, get the kayaks there. But that's every time the biggest question is get the kayaks there.
Yeah. And the big challenge for us will be getting the permitting. Permitting is always a big challenge. How is it with permitting there? Are you okay with permits? Is it easy to get or is it hard? It's very hard in America.
Well, in Finland, because we have called everyman rights, so basically you can cycle and run almost every trail, even if those are private, if you don't go everyone's backyard. But getting like permits it's a job, but it's quite easy because most of the people are outdoor people. They love to go running and others. So getting permits it's a job, but it's not that big job to do.
Well, because as we talked about earlier in the podcast, so much of the country, I mean, half the country knows how to use a map and a compass, right? And so you're not explaining, like we have race directors who struggle because they spend so much time teaching the permitting authorities about the sport. For you, it's a conversation. You can be talking to someone who oriented when they were in school. Yeah. It's easy for them to understand what an adventure race is.
Exactly. And you just knock the door and say that our race might want to go here. Is it okay? Most of them, it's like, yeah, welcome. And now when we are organizing Endurance Quest, most of the landowners ask what we need. Should they make the trail longer, bigger? And I was like, no, everything is perfect. Don't do anything. That trail is perfect. Don't touch it. Don't cut any trees. That's perfect.
That's so refreshing. It's like, no, stop. Don't help us out too much. Well, Lauri, what I want to do is I want to respect your time because before we started recording, what do you have tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is actually first race of the Finnish National Adventure Racing Series. So it's currently 8 p.m. and our alarm is set at 6 a.m. for the race. It's only 5-hour race, but we have to be there at 7 o'clock. So it's early wake up for tomorrow morning for me.
And how long is the drive to get there?
It's a 1-hour drive.
Okay. So because the Dark Zone likes to support racers, I think we're going to call it a day right now because I want you to get to bed. But I do want to give you, and thank you so much for being on the show. You were, as promised, you were a wonderful guest, and I knew that you were going to be. I want to give you the last word. For the newer racer out there, what message do you want to leave them with?
Actually, I want to leave a message to all the race directors. I want that you show that our sport can be, everyone can do it, the sport. So organize those smaller races. Don't all the time organize those big expedition races. Organize those 2-hour races to get more people into adventure racing.
Well, there you have it, folks. A new episode of The Dark Zone. Thank you to Lauri for coming on, for being so thoughtful in his comments. And you could tell that he just loves the sport and he loves the fact that so much goes on and he's been involved for so long. His aspirations to bring an international adventure race to Finland are really something else. We look forward to his progress and for all the racing he has in front of him and the organizing. And we are fortunate to have him in the sport. If you like what you heard here right now, please do us a favor. Go to your streaming platform of choice and click, and subscribe. The algorithm likes that. We look forward to more episodes coming as we move into August and September and the fall and the winter of 2025. We appreciate you being a listener, and we hope that the Dark Zone continues to be worthy of your time. Remember, if you keep racing, we'll keep talking.